Hey guys, I wanted to talk you through this rearranging equations activity. First, you're going to watch these two videos. They are very important. Please make sure you watch them. Add any important information that you need to your notes. For some of you, it might be a review. For some of you, it may not be. They are very important. And then the bulk of what I want to talk about is this diagram that I'll get to in just a minute. The assignment is just to rearrange these equations. The answers are here, but what I care about seeing are the steps, okay? So let's go through this. The first blue box right here says, is the variable you are solving for alone? Well, let's look at number one, for example. V equals I times R. Let's pretend that you were trying to isolate or solve for V. Is the variable alone? Is V alone? It sure is. Alone meaning by itself on one side of the equation. So yes, that spits me down to here, which says PEMDAS, and you know what that is from the video. And then I can just use order of operations and solve my equation and I'm done. But that's usually not the case. V equals I times R, and look what it says, isolate R. We want to solve for R, so no, it's not alone. So that's what that box means. The next one says, is the variable you are solving for in the numerator? Let's pick on another one. Let's look at number 3. P equals F divided by A. Isolate A. Is A in the numerator? No, it is, or excuse me, let's start at the beginning. Is the variable you are solving for alone? No, A is not alone. Is the variable you are solving for in the numerator? No, it's not in the numerator. Okay, so that kicks us down to here. This step is interesting. Let's talk about the traditional way to isolate an equation just like number 3. Let's just do this together. So I wrote that, it disappeared, that's okay. Let me just write that again. So what we have is, we have P equals F over A. Okay, so the steps we usually use to do this is reverse PEMDAS. So notice that's what this is right here, reverse PEMDAS. Instead of PEMDAS, it's just in reverse. So what I mean by that is, well, I remember I'm solving for A, and I'm looking in this equation, is there any subtraction or addition? Absolutely not. No. Okay, moving on. Is there any division or multiplication? Oh, yes, there sure is. So the opposite of division, which is what is happening between F and A, is multiplication. So I'm going to multiply this side times A. Excuse me, it's a little hard to write with this pen. That says multiply, a little X. So we're going to multiply. Sorry, just couldn't stand looking at that one. We're going to multiply by A on that side. We're going to multiply by A on this side. So what ends up happening is A cancels over here, and we're left with A times P equals F. Well, that didn't really help me because I'm trying to solve for A. So if A times P equals F, and I'm trying to solve for A, well, back to my reverse PEMDAS. Is there any subtraction or addition? No. Is there any division or multiplication? Yes. What's the opposite of multiplying? Dividing. Well then, I can divide this side by P, and let me erase this because we don't need it anymore. And I can divide this side by P. Okay, so now we're left with, this of course cancels, and now our new equation is A equals F over P. A equals F over P. Now, here's why I went through that. This part right here is important. That was kind of a long, arduous way, and it went through the right steps, but there's a cool shortcut. Whenever I have an equation that is in this format, like x equals y over z, and I'm trying to solve for the denominator, like z, or in our case, a, all I have to do is flip it. Just flip it. So z comes over to the spot where x was, and x goes over to z. And look, that's exactly what happened over here. We had P equals F over A, and we just flipped A and P. Okay, so moving on. Either you had this situation where you can just flip them, and now you know why you can do that, or you work through PEMDAS backwards to isolate your variable. And here's a little reminder of what PEMDAS is. So we go through that, and then we continue to do that. Notice how I had to do that twice to finally get the answer that I wanted. Then once we're left with like this, A equals F over P, well, now it's just order of operations. And hopefully in my question, I would have a value for F and a value for P. I could plug those in and then just simply divide those, and then I would have my answer. Okay, so hopefully that'll help you. And again, just rearrange this equation, these equations, and show your work. Show me, just like I did here, show me how you got to this answer.